Raoul Pal has just verified something that completely changes the XRP thesis. This isn't just about the payment or regulatory aspects, it goes beyond all of those. It connects XRP to the most powerful technological force in human history and puts XRP holders at the crossroads of two regime changes happening at the same time: the shift to digital money and the shift to artificial intelligence. In his extensive career evaluating developing asset classes, Raoul Pal has never sent a stronger signal than his confirmation that these two forces are simultaneously convergent on XRP. I will explain in detail what Raoul Pal proved tonight and why the integration of AI with XRP's settlement infrastructure is an extension of the XRP thesis rather than an embellishment to it. Insights into the future of policy, evidence of current AI system use of blockchain settlement rails, and potential price targets for the asset that supports both the global payment system and the AI economy can be gleaned from the United States government's involvement with digital payment infrastructure and artificial intelligence, AI systems. Documented AI deployment architectures, government communications, publicly available research, and institutional filings comprise all of the data points that I reference. Just so we're clear, this isn't financial advice. For educational purposes solely, I am giving material that is publicly available. Before putting your money into the market, you should always perform your own research and talk to a competent financial advisor. Because the media has either framed this story incorrectly or left out key details, I will begin by stating what Raoul Pal really confirmed. Convergence points, where two big structural shifts meet, and the asset at the intersection captures value from both, rather than just one, have always been the foundation of Raoul Pal's framework for identifying the most asymmetric investment opportunities of a decade. Bitcoin, he said, was the meeting point of digital scarcity and institutional capital allocation. Ethereum, he said, is where decentralized application infrastructure and programmable money meet. At this point, he has acknowledged that XRP is the meeting point of the worldwide payment settlement network with the AI economic layer. The artificial intelligence economy is real. It has already started to stimulate the economy. AI bots are out shopping, machines learning are making purchases, businesses are investing in AI infrastructure because AI-powered business models necessitate a lot of small-scale economic transactions, such as paying for data, API calls, licensing, and compute. Raoul Pal has now verified an answer to his question on the settlement infrastructure used by the AI economy for value transfers, not at a leisurely pace, not by means of a correspondent banking wire that takes 3 to 5 working days. I must confess, I could spin a MIVS in the blink of an eye, at scale, all throughout the world, for pennies and dimes. Economic activity led by AI necessitates that. The XRP ledger's technical requirements are highly congruent with those of AI economic activities. Fast settlement finality, 3 to 5 seconds. Transaction costs in fractions of a penny. Smart contract feature enables programmable payment flows, bridges between multiple currencies. Additionally, the existing institutional regulatory framework qualifies XRP as a commodity for the purposes of lawfully engaging in regulated economic activity. According to Raoul Pal, the XRP ledger meets the technical criteria of the AI economy's settlement layer. The same institutional players who have been positioning themselves more broadly in the digital asset space for years are now seeing this match. Since this has to be based on current events rather than hypothetical possibilities, let me go through the evidence of AI economic activity. The autonomous AI agent ecosystem that has been evolving on numerous blockchains is the first verifiable evidence of AI systems employing blockchain settlement rails. Software systems that function as AI agents are able to make judgments and complete transactions in real time without any human involvement. There is a significant difference between human and AI-generated economic activity. People do business in groups. Our salary comes in every 2 weeks, our expenses every month, and our purchases are more sporadic. AI bots are always making deals. Hundreds of microtransactions per hour could be executed by a single AI agent managing a business process. These transactions would pay for compute resources, data feeds, API access, and service calls, but the amounts would be too small for traditional payment systems to handle efficiently. However, over time, these small amounts would add up to significant economic value. Not a bank account, but settlement infrastructure is what AI agents need. The economic value of hundreds of transactions per hour involving fractional sending amounts across different currencies and jurisdictions cannot be sustained by a bank account due to the overhead of correspondent banking delays and costs. A programmable, low-latency, low-cost blockchain settlement layer is the infrastructure that AI agents need for settlement. And that need is met by the XRP ledger's unique blend of low price, programmability, speed, and cross-currency bridging. The blockchain company Ripple has been actively building a payment system that uses artificial intelligence. Payment flows that are intended to be triggered and handled by automated systems, including AI agents, are described in the public roadmap and developer documentation of the company. Artificial intelligence agents may carry out intricate conditional payment flows with no human involvement thanks to the XRP ledger's hooks functionality, which permits programmable transaction logic to be integrated at the protocol level. When an AI agent's compute utilization reaches a certain threshold, a payment can be automatically triggered. If many providers are available, the payment can also be shared among multiple receivers based on the AI system's real-time choices about resource allocation. Future functionality is not this. Hook's work has progressed to the point where it is ready to be deployed on the mainnet of the XRP ledger. Organizational AI deployment is the subject of the second body of evidence. One of the most real and substantial obstacles to executing AI-driven business models, according to companies using AI systems at scale, is the payment infrastructure challenge. Fast payment rails are essential for businesses utilizing AI for automated procurement, dynamic pricing execution, or real-time optimization of their supply chains. Enterprise finance departments typically utilize treasury and payment operations technology that was designed for transactions that were processed at a human speed. It will create operational bottlenecks that lower the AI system's efficacy and cannot sustain economic activities at AI speed. Blockchain payment rails are being considered by the enterprise AI sector as a potential option to address that bottleneck. XRP is the best alternative for enterprise adoption because of its fast settlement time, cross-currency capabilities, and institutional regulatory framework. When looking at the facts in terms of capital flow, the third stream is king. Companies in the AI infrastructure space, such as hyperscalers and foundation model providers, are currently assessing the best way to monetize the AI services they offer. There are currently delays and expenses associated with using traditional payment infrastructure to bill and settle for an AI agent making 1,000 API requests per hour on OpenAI's API. The payment infrastructure supporting AI agents must expand in tandem with their economic activity. It is impossible to use settlement infrastructure built for human speed batch payment processing to support economic activity occurring at the AI speed that the AI economy is rapidly approaching. This is known by the hyperscalers. They are now assessing blockchain settlement alternatives as part of their infrastructure planning teams. Their legal and compliance departments are able to endorse XRP as a settlement layer due to its institutional standing and regulatory clarity. Let me now bring in the US government element. There is a policy component to the convergence of AI and XRP that greatly strengthens the investment thesis. Artificial intelligence is a top strategic objective for the United States government. The current administration's AI infrastructure policy efforts, funding pledges, regulatory frameworks, and executive directives are the largest government investment in a single technology area since the space race. And within that promise, the government's AI installations encounter an issue with the payment infrastructure. The Internal Revenue Service, IRS, the Defense Department to optimize logistics, and the Health and Human Services to process benefits are just a few of the federal agencies that are utilizing AI technologies. There is a need to settle payments for the economic activity that each of these AI deployments creates. The settlement infrastructure that processes contractor payments across many international jurisdictions must be quick, auditable, transparent, and legally clean for a Defense Department AI system to function properly. All of these needs are met by the XRP ledger, which combines a public record of transactions with an institutional regulatory framework and the capacity to settle transactions across borders. Investment in artificial intelligence infrastructure and review of digital payment infrastructure are not two distinct policy avenues for the government. They are two perspectives on the same policy issue. At the crossroads, you can find XRP. It will be legally easy for XRP to participate in the government's AI payment infrastructure once the Clarity Act, a legislative event aimed for the second half of April, passes. There is no need for a regulatory exception or legal interpretation for XRP's usage in the government's payment infrastructure when it is classified as a commodity under permanent federal legislation. Like all commodities that are transacted in by government entities, it functions under the same structure. Similar to how the Clarity Act enables the institutional ETF use case, it also enables the government AI payment use case. Another policy consideration is the potential impact on national security from AI-driven economic activities. The American regulatory apparatus is oblivious to the fact that the AI systems of hostile nations, such as Russia's AI infrastructure and China's enterprise AI installations, are settling economic activities through payment rails. The case for AI economic activity monitoring is similar to the one that makes Ripple's technology strategically beneficial for cross-border payment surveillance. That is, that SWIFT's Belgian jurisdiction creates friction for American financial intelligence access. A national security tool for keeping tabs on AI-driven financial flows that infrastructure controlled by adversaries cannot offer is American-built blockchain payment infrastructure that offers the settlement layer for AI economic activity with transaction data accessible under American law and regulatory frameworks. The government's plans for artificial intelligence and its digital payment infrastructure are coming to the same consensus. Both questions can be answered by a blockchain-based settlement system that is American-built and regulated. Since Goldman, Morgan Stanley, and BlackRock have not overlooked the artificial intelligence AI component of the XRP thesis, I will now relate Raoul Pal's affirmation to the steadily increasing institutional posture. The Real Vision technology, developed by Raoul Pal, is utilized by family offices and hedge funds that oversee some of the most intricate investment portfolios globally. Discussions among the investment committee following his confirmation of the AI XRP convergence thesis in front of that audience will not center on whether or not to believe him. These pertain to the matter of determining the appropriate size of the position. Those who follow Raoul Pal's Real Vision show have been following the payment infrastructure theory for some time. Position sizing goes from being meaningful to being significantly important with the addition of the AI economy settlement layer to that concept. The payment infrastructure theory was the basis for Goldman Sachs's $154 million XRP stake. If Goldman Sachs's AI research capacity had conducted the AI economic settlement layer analysis as part of validating its XRP thesis, it would have been in line with the firm's aggressive deployment of AI throughout its trading, research, and risk management operations, which no other investment bank has done. Despite the inclusion of AI into the XRP thesis, Goldman remains convinced of the importance of the payment infrastructure. It supplements the payment infrastructure study by including a demand driver that was previously missing. There is a floor in Goldman's stated holdings. An AI settlement layer's core tenet is an expansion of the ceiling. With the inclusion of XRP to their wealth management offering, Morgan Stanley now has a story to tell about their $5.5 trillion in client assets that extends beyond the adoption of institutional ETFs. The most compelling aspect of XRP for the tech-savvy wealth management clientele of Morgan Stanley's 15,000 financial advisors is the tale of the AI economy settlement layer. Investors in artificial intelligence, AI foundation models, AI infrastructure providers, and AI-driven corporate applications are the target investors for the XRP AI settlement layer. The AI story, which Raoul Pal has just verified, amplifies Morgan Stanley's wealth management's XRP distribution, including the AI economy settlement layer in the demand model, changes BlackRock's method for calculating the $3 billion AUM barrier. Investment requirements for pension and sovereign wealth funds, which BlackRock oversees, are growing to encompass exposure to artificial intelligence infrastructure. More institutional needs can be met by an XRP ETF that serves as payment infrastructure as well as an AI economy settlement layer infrastructure, rather than just payment infrastructure. A BlackRock XRP ETF can reach a wider range of institutional investors thanks to the AI component of the thesis, which isn't possible with just the payment thesis. Since both the AI demand layer and the institutional adoption layer are encountering the same limited supply, I will now provide you with the supply dynamics. The current supply of XRP tokens is 61.3 billion. At the current price point, just a small percentage of that amount is accessible for institutional acquisition as effective free float. Escrow holds 34% of Ripple's tokens. Around 17% of crypto assets are held in long-term whale wallets. Unrealized losses affect about 60% of current holdings. Since it has never experienced demand from both sides at once before, the free float is tiny. Just the payment infrastructure theory creates demand for institutional adoption, which was growing due to ETF inflows, Goldman's stake, Morgan Stanley's distribution, and BlackRock's threshold approach. The demand for the AI economy settlement layer is growing. Artificial intelligence systems rely on the XRP ledger as their settlement infrastructure. Hence, XRP is an operational necessity for these systems. The dissimilarity between operational and investment demand in their responses to price signals is a key differentiator. Since the alternative isn't working economically, an AI system that relies on XRP to process payments will buy XRP at any price the market dictates. Unlike investment demand, operational demand from an AI economy that is scaling does not have a ceiling based on price sensitivity. The floor is useful and necessary. Two places asking for it: the proposal for the payment infrastructure and the desire for institutional investment. Functions required for operational purposes by the AI economy's settlement layer thesis. Just one limited free float there. To the best of my knowledge, no pre-existing XRP price goal accounts for the price discovery that arises as a consequence of those two demand sources vying for a limited supply. The desire for institutional adoption is already high enough without any additional goal elements in the AI economy settlement layer. The first public reference to the combined demand picture has come from an institutional-grade analyst, Raoul, with his confirmation. His confirmation does not reflect the price targets that Tom Lee or Standard Chartered have announced. They stand taller, because both the short-term and long-term goals for the AI economy require hard data. I'll hand you the investment calculator. With a price of $142, you can get around 704 XRP with $1,000. There are 704 coins worth $1,071 at the institutional consensus target price of $2.80 for the foreseeable future. They are worth $3,821 at $5, the bottom end of the repricing range implied by institutional and AI demand combined. Their value is $5,732, or at the upper limit of the near-term combined catalyst objective of $8. When the institutional ratio flip is finalized, they will be worth $8,448 at the intermediate target price of $12. They are worth $14,085 at $20. The velocity model's prediction for the case when institutional ETF deployment occurs at the same time that operational XRP demand is generated at a measurable scale by AI agents. Their current value is $19,718 in comparison to Standard Chartered's 2027 objective of $28. They are worth $35,200 at $50, assuming that the AI economy settlement layer thesis is partially priced into the market cap. They are worth $7,400 at $100 in the scenario where XRP is acknowledged as the settlement infrastructure for both the global payment system and the AI economy at the same time. For the scenario where the AI economy settlement requirements create operational demand that compounds against constrained supply over the next 5 years, Raoul Pal's longer-term framework output stands at $500 or $352,000. For an investment of $5,000, multiply all figures by 5. Then multiply $10,000 by 10. Then multiply $25,000 by 25. Maximum loss is around 10% from the structural floor at $1.27. Numbers that the payment infrastructure thesis cannot achieve on its own are capped by the AI economy settlement layer thesis. 10% drop against a goal range of 300 to 24,000% upside. That deal does not involve the payment infrastructure. This is Raoul Pal's chance to publicly confirm the most asymmetric configuration in the history of the asset class. The AI thesis and the institutional thesis are operating on overlapping schedules, which results in a compression of catalysts that the XRP market has never seen before. Allow me to now outline the catalyst sequence. By the middle of April, the Clarity Act will have been marked up, laying the groundwork for XRP to join the AI payment infrastructure and institutional ETF products at the same time. A single statute. There are two consequences that could broaden the market. Weeks remain till the legislative window opens. Every AI infrastructure firm considering XRP as their settlement layer may rest assured that the asset has been validated at the highest institutional level thanks to the BlackRock threshold crossing and institutional endorsement. Artificial intelligence firms who were worried about the depth of liquidity and the availability of institutional counterparties for their XRP settlement infrastructure should rest easy when the biggest asset manager in the world joins the XRP market. In order to make AI agent payment flows practically viable on the XRP ledger at scale, the technical catalyst is the deployment of the XRP ledger hook's mainnet. The AI economy settlement layer theory goes from being technically feasible to being technically deployed when hooks reach mainnet. At that point in time, institutional investors and operational demand from AI systems both start to add to the demand for XRP. At the sovereign level, the thesis will be validated by the announcement of the government's AI payment infrastructure. The announcement by a federal agency that its AI systems are utilizing XRP-based settlement infrastructure for their payment flows dispels Raoul Pal's prediction about the AI economy settlement layer thesis. This is a fact that the government has officially acknowledged. The largest change in XRP and AI history has been confirmed by Raoul Pal. Already, the thesis on payment infrastructure was remarkable. With the addition of the AI economic settlement layer, it becomes his most comprehensive and potent investment thesis to date for any asset he has released. It is known to Goldman. Morgan Stanley is aware of this. It's within BlackRock's capabilities. And now, after years of regulatory uncertainty, the XRP community that has hung in there is standing at the crossroads of two of the most profound structural changes in the history of contemporary economics. one cannot deny the reality of the AI transformation. A change is occurring in the monetary architecture. XRP sits atop each of these. As a result of the market's present confusion on Raoul Pal's confirmation, the price is 1.42s. Typhoons on a global scale abate. Buildings endure. Hide the like button. Leave a comment below with your XRP holdings and your price target for the AI economy. Find out who controls the settlement layer and what this community thinks about the future of the AI economy. Sign up and give it a ring. Within hours of the Clarity Act passing, BlackRock filing, and the launch of the Hook's mainnet, my breakdown will be live. Raoul Pal verified the change. You were present throughout that moment. We will meet again after this.